Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by a Layla Cara herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. So, welcome back to my podcast. I want to say thank you to you guys who have been sticking around with me. This has been a great experience for me to be able to share my thoughts and my feelings with you guys, even my experience, because I am a storyteller. I've noticed that throughout my entire life, I used to tell stories about things and sometimes very vivid into the details, you know. Even my husband now, he tells me all the time, spare me the details. And I understand because I'm a visual person. I can see what I'm telling you. So I try to get you and draw you into that. So that's one of the reasons why I like to do what I do right now with the podcast. I really enjoy talking to you guys because I got someone to listen to me. You know what? Next month will be 2 years that I have been doing the podcast. And I have gotten over 1,700 downloads. I had no idea how this was going to go. And to have listeners from all over the globe, the entire world, this is amazing. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for listening. Thank you for downloading and not just only listening, but you have the episodes to go back to them and listen to them again and again and again. So this is something that I can truly say that was very worth it for me. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off into the topic. So today's topic for this podcast is titled Characteristics of a Runner in a Relationship. So you're probably wondering, what is a runner? For those of you who don't know, and then for those of you who do know, you're probably like, oh my goodness, thank you for talking about this. So, have you ever been in a relationship with someone and every time you get into a heated topic or discussion and it's very important to you, but the person you're talking to, which is your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they don't really want to get into the topic with you. They don't want to get into the discussion with you. And usually every time you get into the discussion, they take off running. Sometimes they run completely out of the door, and then sometimes they just walk, but they grab their things and leave. That is a runner. That's exactly what that is. If you're dealing with that, I am here to explain to you how to go about doing it in a better way. So first I want to talk about the characteristics of a runner to give you the ideas of what they are. Then I'm going to go into why the person become a runner so you can understand what's going on with them. And then I'm going to go into the impact that it will have on your relationship. Okay? Because it's not good. I'm going to tell you that now. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about how to handle a runner. How do you handle them? And then I'm going to flip the script and go into the narcissistic mode of it. So I know I told you guys that we was going to just discuss what I was going to discuss. Wish you guys can give me some feedback and go back and forth. That would be kind of nice. but it's okay to have someone to just listen. So I know I told you guys that I was just going to do only about relationship for 2025. Well, I am going to do about relationships. And I told you it's going to be about the lover relationship, the kind, the romantic kind, right? Well, I do want to continue to incorporate season 6 into this as well. So I will talk about narcissistic in this, because with this particular topic, narcissists, they are king for being a runner. So I'll be talking about that as well. So before I get into it, I want to let you guys know that whatever you have been dealing with in your relationship, it is fixable. What I'm talking about, not saying that you can fix the problem with the person you're with, but you can fix the problem within yourself. I told you I'm going to be dealing with you, not your partner. I'm going to be dealing with you throughout this whole year of how you can grow, how you can change, how you can make some things happen for yourself and get better outcomes. So I want to share something with you. When I was a little girl, so I had this aunt. She passed away, so God rest her soul. This is one of my mother's sisters. So my mother have total 3 sisters and 4 brothers. So this is one of my mother's sisters. She was married to her husband at the time, and they used to get into it a lot. They used to fight a lot. And one of my uncles, which they call him Top Cat, okay? So his real name is Henry, but I guess his street name that people called him was Top Cat. So one day, her and my uncle got into it, and they was basically, I guess, I don't know how the fight started or whatever. I just don't know, because I was too young to know. But what I do remember was that my uncle, he left. He packed his things and left. So he was considered to be what I'm going to talk to you guys about, which is a runner. But this story is not, this podcast is not about him. I just wanted to share the story because I want to give you something to think about. So my aunt was pacing back and forth in the living room while my uncle was sleeping on the couch. And as she was pacing back, she kept tapping my uncle to wake him up and ask him a question. And she said, she was tapping him, she was pushing it to wake him up. And she said, Top Cat, Top Cat, Top Cat. And he was like, what? And she said, Anthony, he ain't gonna change, right? He ain't gonna change. So that's her husband's name, Anthony. Anthony, he ain't gonna change, right? He ain't gonna change. And he just like, leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. So he kept trying to fall back to sleep, and my aunt kept pacing back and forth, and she tapped him again. Top Cat, Top Cat, Top Cat. Anthony, he ain't gonna change, right? He ain't gonna change, he ain't gonna change. And then my uncle was like, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. So my aunt, I guess she was just in her feelings because my uncle had left. And yet again, my aunt tapped my uncle again, and she woke him up again, and she was like, Top Cat, Top Cat, Top Cat. Anthony, he ain't gonna change, huh? He ain't gonna change, right? He ain't gonna change. And so my uncle was so annoyed with her, he just jumped up off the couch, and he said, can you change? Why don't you change? You're worried about him changing. You the one who needs to be changing. You can't change a man. You change yourself. And I never forgot that. It always stuck with me because I was a little girl and I seen my aunt and uncle how they deal with each other. And then I seen my uncle how he was just wanting to be left alone. But what he said made so much sense. Now, when I was younger, it didn't really register to me what he was actually saying to her. But when I gotten older, as I am now, I can look back at that and I can understand it now. So this is the reason why that I say you guys are going to have to work on yourself. It's not about the other person changing. It's about you changing. So let's get right into it. Characteristics of a runner. So in relationships, the term runner often describes someone who emotionally or physically withdraws when the connection becomes too intense or vulnerable. This dynamic is commonly discussed in the context of twin flame or trauma bonded relationships, but it can appear in other relationships, in any type of relationship where deep emotions are evolved. So if you have a relationship and you have deep emotions, this could be in your relationship. It don't always be in everyone's, of course not. But for a runner, this is what usually happens, okay? So the characteristics of a runner in a relationship, number one, emotional. So basically, they're avoiding emotional vulnerability. They struggle to open up emotionally, fearing rejection or abandonment. Number two, fear of intimacy. The closeness of the relationship may trigger fear of loss, of losing their independence or getting hurt. So basically, you might yourself think intimacy is great. So, and it really is. But to them, they might see it as losing their independence. If I get close to you, I can't be myself. Or if I get close to you and you betray me or you cheat on me or do something, now I'm hurt. So I got to protect myself. So they don't want to open up to give you that intimacy. Now, I did talk about intimacy is not sex, okay, in season 6. So if you want to understand what intimacy is, please go back to the podcast in season 6 and look for the one where it says intimacy is not sex, okay? And then you understand what I mean by intimacy. So, number 3, push-pull dynamic.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Carroll style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarrollstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. They may appear close one moment and distant the next, creating confusion in you. Okay? So one moment they might think that, I'm just telling you, and it's like this. Everything is good. Y'all seem to be getting closer to each other. Seems like everything is going great. They're talking more. They're letting you in. They're sharing some things with you, maybe some secrets or their feelings or something like that. Then all of a sudden, the next day, they're not like that. And you're trying to figure out what happened. Why? What did I do? Did I do anything? So this is what that is. That's called the push-pull dynamic. They push you away. They pull you close. Then they push you away again. Okay? And number 4 is emotional overwhelm. So, strong emotions or conflicts can cause them to detach or even leave the relationship. So if you're very emotional, and most women are, we get in our feelings and we get to feeling a certain, and men are too. I have dated some men who were very emotional. I know what this is like. So I can't just say that it's just women. My first husband was like that. He was very, very, very emotional. And my deceased husband as well. So I do understand the strong emotion thing. But for a runner, if you are displaying strong emotions, or even just conflict, period, being confrontational or aggressive, quote unquote, to their mind, that's what they thinking, that you've been aggressive, then they will end up leaving. Sometimes they will leave, or if they don't leave, they just detach themselves from you. Okay. And you just don't understand it, but hey, this is what runners are. This is what they do. This is their characteristics. This is how they are. Okay. And then number 5, unresolved trauma. Past emotional wounds can make it hard to trust or fully engage in relationships. If you got somebody who has been in a traumatic situation and they have not gotten the help that they are supposed to be getting, you are in for a long run. You got your work cut off for you. I'm being straight with you. Your work is hard. I'm going to tell you again, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. You cannot save them. You can talk to them. You can let them open up and talk to you, and you can listen. But you can't save them, okay? They are going to have to go get some real help. From a therapist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, somebody. They're going to need to really put in the work. Because if they don't put in the work, they will never, ever get to a place where they can be healthy enough for you. And you keep trying to make them something that they're not. Well, put it like this. If you keep trying to make them something that they're not ready for, you're going to only be hurting yourself in the process. Just letting you know. So here is some of the reasons why someone become a runner. Fear of commitment. And I know this is a cliche. This is something that we used to say a lot. Oh, they got fear of commitment. Or the person might say, I got fear of commitment. Well, why do they have fear of commitment? Most of the time because they worry about losing their freedom or making something long term. They don't want to have that long term commitment. It's just to them in their mind, it's just too long. I got to do this for how long? Especially when you say the vows when you're getting married, to death do us part. In their minds, like, what? I got to be with you for that long? Until I die or till you die? Especially if you're young and you're like, oh, how long is that going to be? How long is that going to take if you're young? So I'm telling you this because you have to understand that when you're in a relationship like that and you're dealing with someone who has fear of commitment, you, yet again, you have your work cut out for you, okay? So another reason why someone become a runner is because of attachment issues. Yeah, that's a problem. The avoidant attachment style may cause discomfort or closeness. So basically, if you're trying to get close to them, they are not really ready for that yet, then they're going to try to avoid you. I've done this before. I'm not even going to sit here and play like I didn't. I did. I met this guy this is years ago. I was in my 20s. And I didn't want a relationship. I just really wanted to date. And when I say date, I'm not talking about being in a relationship, okay? I'm talking about just go out on a date, go out and have a good time, and that's it. I just wanted a friend. This guy really liked me, and I liked him, but I just didn't want to be with him. And every time I saw him, he was always coming at me about us being together. Now, I have had this happen more than one occasion with different people. And I always say to myself, when I don't want to be in a relationship, then it seems like everybody I meet want to be in a relationship. But when I'm ready for a relationship, no one is ready for a relationship. This is so opposite. So, but this particular person, I was running from him. I was the runner, because every time that he came close to trying to draw me in, I would withdraw from him and I would disappear. I ghost him. I will ghost him. And when I was ready to talk to him again, then I would answer the phone and talk to him. And it would be like 3 months at a time. Oh, I did this for 2 years straight. 3 months at a time, he would not hear from me. And then maybe for 1 week, I would be engaging with him, talking, and like ain't nothing happened. And then I would just stop talking to him. And 3 months would pass, and then finally I answered the phone and talked to him. And he asked me about this once. He asked me, he said, "What's going on with you? I'm really trying to get to know you and want to talk to you and want to be involved with you. But it seems like every time I start talking about being with you, you just disappear." Well, I just had to be honest with him. One of the reasons, because I had a major problem with men who had children under 5 years old. I didn't have any kids at that time. And I didn't want no one trying to make me an instant stepmother. That was one of my things. I was a party goer. I liked going out to party. I wanted to go to the clubs. That was me. So why would I want to settle down with someone who have that type of situation? I had already gotten out of that situation with my first husband, because he had a daughter who was 5 years old, and look how that went. I was like, I'm not doing this no more. So I would run. Okay. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, I've been through some things and I experienced some stuff, especially with a relationship. So I can actually talk to you guys about these things based off of experience. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay. I'm trying to help you to understand, basically. Okay. Your friend, your mind, you improving your thoughts, and this is what you're doing. So also, past relationship trauma. Negative experiences may make it very hard to trust or feel safe. Remember, I just said that. I had already went there, been there, done that, wasn't trying to go through that again. Then you get to understand what I'm talking about, all right? So, alrighty then. So also, low self-worth. So these are some more, other reasons why a person can become a runner, is because of low self-worth. You have to know your worth, okay? So if a person don't know their worth, they're feeling undesirable, undeserving of love, or fearing that they are going to disappoint you. I never really had that problem though. I always felt that I did deserve love. And I never really felt like I was going to disappoint my partner. Because when I was in a relationship and I was ready for it, I was in and I was all in. But when I wasn't, I just wasn't, okay? Now let's talk about the impact on the relationship. So now we're going to talk about what happens when the person who is a runner runs, but the other person who is affected by it, okay? What this does, it creates a emotional distance between you two, which lead you to be the chaser or the pursuer, because you're pursuing to be close with the person who's running, and you start chasing after them. Yeah, something that you should not do. Now, I remember when I was 16 years old, the first guy I ever fell in love with, his name was Guy. And I was crazy about this dude. I mean, crazy about him. But at the same time, you would think that if I was that much crazy about him, that I wouldn't have been talking to somebody else. But I did talk to this guy that I thought was so cute. I wasn't trying to be in a relationship with him. I wasn't trying to get with him. None of that. I definitely was not cheating. But the thing about that situation was that I was having a conversation with him, and guy happened to drive up and see me talking to him. And he didn't like it. Oh, he didn't like it at all. He was trying to figure out why was we talking. And to me, it was innocent because that's all we was doing was having a conversation. He wasn't flirting with me and I wasn't flirting with him. But yeah, I did think he was cute. So I'm not going to act like I didn't think he wasn't cute. He was. But I didn't have any intentions on being with this guy, with this person. But I remember a guy getting out of the car and he walked over to us and he said, "What's going on here?" And I was like, "Nothing." Well, the other guy, his name was Willie, he said, "Ain't nothing going on. I'm just talking." And then guy was like, "I don't like you talking to my girl." And I was like, "All we doing is talking." And guy was like, "Hey, you don't understand. You don't understand. I know this dude. I know what he's about. I know how he get down. He know that you my girl and he will try to holler at you." So it became one of those type of situation where I was kind of in the middle of two dudes trying to flex who had the bigger balls, you know? And I didn't like it because I felt like it was very innocent. I didn't see nothing wrong with that. Keep in mind, I was 16 years old. And both of them was way older than me. And I mean, way older than me. So guy was 21. Yeah, he was grown. And Willie was the same age. So here it is. I'm a teenager. They, grown. And you fighting over a teenager. Come on, man. So anyway, looking back at that stuff, I can see how crazy it is. But at the time, in the middle of it, I didn't see it that way. So I remember I was like, you know what? Nah, this is not cool. And I remember Willie walking off. Like, you know what? Dude, I wasn't even trying to holler at your girl. I'm out of here. And he left. Well, I was trying to get an explanation from guy. Like, why did he act that way? Because there was no need for that. And he just really got upset and he walked away. And I didn't get my answer. So I started walking behind him trying to get my answer, like basically chasing. You need to tell me what happened. What went wrong? What did I do? Why are you acting like this? And he was still trying to get away from me. Did he get in his car? No. He left his car parked there and he started walking down the street. And I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm not finna chase after you. One thing I don't do is chase after a man. I'm out of here. So I turned back around and I left and I walked home. I was actually by my house. I was really pretty much maybe 20 feet from my house. I wasn't really, I think that's probably what the problem was because I was too close to home. So anyway, what I'm trying to say to you guys is that I decided at that moment I wasn't going to chase a man. I'm not chasing you. And to be that young with that mindset, it set me up on a different path when it came down to anyone that I got with after that. Especially with my first husband, because he was definitely a runner. My first husband used to run every time we got into a heated argument. He would take his stuff like he was a bag on a stick, like he's a little boy kicking a can down the road. He would do that kind of stuff. And I just say, you know what? I am not going to chase you either. And then, of course, after that, divorcing, getting with someone else. And it was a pattern that I saw that if we get into a heated discussion or argument and you can't handle it, I'm not chasing you if you storm out the house or if you walk away. I'm not going to be behind you telling you that you need to talk to me and tell me what's up. You want to go. Go ahead and go. And I remember having this conversation with my first husband. I asked him one time, why do you do that? We would be having a discussion. I'm thinking we getting somewhere in the conversation. Yeah, we heated, but I'm still feeling like we're getting through. You saying how you feel, I'm saying how I feel. But then all of a sudden you be like, I'm out of here. And you grab your stuff and you leave. Why you do that? And then his answer to me was, I do that because I be hoping that you will come run behind me and chase me and say, please don't go. Let's finish talking. I'm sorry. I looked at him and I just bust out laughing. I said, I know you did just say that. Do you really think that that's what I'm going to do? Do I look like I'm that kind of girl that I'm going to go run behind you and be like, please don't go? Let's talk about this. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. It's just saying that's not in me. I'm not going to do that. So with that being said, I want you to understand that this is a type of impact that it can have on your relationship when you're dealing with a runner and you don't truly understand what you are up against. So the impact that it can have is that it create emotional distance, leading to you to become the chaser. You are going to be the one to be pursuing them and trying to get that closeness. That's not good. Also, it is a cycle that is going to be continuing because it leads to cycles of connection that is withdrawal. Basically, this is going to be a revolving door. They're going to keep doing this over and over and over again, causing instability. You will not be stable in your relationship. You want a stable relationship? Don't chase them. Okay? You have to put your foot down somewhere. You have to make it clear what type of person you really are. Are you that person that you need this kind of attention, that you run after them so badly that you have to have it? Or are you the type of person that you are like, enough is enough. You want to go. I will not stop you. Okay? And then also this can result in unresolved conflict and unmet emotional needs. You'll find yourself not being pleased. Your needs will go lacking. You will not be happy. And you will find yourself always trying to make them happy, neglecting yourself in the process, okay? So, how do you handle a runner? How do you handle this dynamic? What do you do? Well, remember when I said that when I realized that my exes, how they will take off? And I would say, I'm not chasing after them. Well, one of the things that I would do was give them space. So this is what you should do. Give them space. Okay? Because what happens is that when you give them space, if you're pushing too hard to try to get them to talk to you or to explain themselves to you or give you some type of emotional security, then you're going to find yourself pretty much being ran over. Yeah, this is going to feed them. This is going to make them feel like you're weak and they can treat you any kind of way. And you don't want to come off weak. You don't want to be weak. It ain't about coming off weak. You just don't want to be weak. So you don't want to push too hard, because if you're pushing too hard, you can cause them to withdraw from you even further. Okay? A person like to know that you respect yourself, where you're not going to go and stoop low enough to be crawling on your fours, your hands and knees, begging them to come back, okay? Also, you want to encourage open communication. So what I mean by this is that you want to create a safe space for sharing feelings without judgment. So you would tell them, hey, I'm not going to chase after you, but you got my number. You know how to call me. Contact me when you want to talk. I'm not going to push you out, but I'm here to listen. It's just what it is. And that will let them say, okay, well, I got time to think. I got time to regroup. I got time to figure out. But not only they have the time, you do too. All right. So you want to also focus on your personal growth. So when you're focusing on your personal growth, you need to prioritize your emotional healing because you're going to go through some things. You're going to feel a certain kind of way. You're going to feel rejected. I'm going to tell you that now. So you want to go through a healing process while you're giving them the space. You're also giving yourself time to process what happened. Should you continue in this relationship? And if you do continue or choose to continue, how you're going to deal with the issue that you're dealing with at hand, okay? And then, of course, you want to have a set healthy boundaries. You have to. I talked about this in season 6 about setting boundaries. If you don't have a line that a person cannot cross, then you are overflowing. And you don't want to overflow where they can come in and out the way they want, okay? It's not a beach where the waves can come up to the shore and then go back into the ocean. You have to figure out what are your boundaries, okay? Maintain some self-respect and avoidance behavior. I'm going to repeat that. Maintain self-respect and avoidance behavior. What is that, you say? Well, what that is that you want to avoid any type of behavior from your partner that he is going to be avoiding you. So let's say, for instance, you want to make a phone call and call him. He don't have to answer that phone call. Now he's avoiding your phone call. You could have prevented that if you just would not have called him. Let him or her call you. They the one with the problem. All right? Now, if you did something wrong, then you the one with the problem. But you know you didn't do nothing wrong. They are the one with the problem. They're the runner. They're the one who's running every time things get hot and heated and they can't stick around and have a decent conversation like an adult should. Okay? All right. So I want to go ahead and kind of do a twist on this, and we're going to talk about the narcissistic relationship of a runner. Okay? Because every runner is not a narcissist, but for those who are, this is where I want you to pay more attention to, okay? So in narcissistic relationships, the runner-chaser dynamic can be especially harmful because it often ties into patterns of emotional manipulation, trauma bonding, and power imbalances, okay? Understanding how a narcissist may act as a runner or provoke running behaviors can help break down cycles. You want to break the cycle, all right? You want to also support your own healing process. So let's talk about that because I want to really get you to kind of understand the difference between just a person who's a runner. Every runner is not a narcissist. But if you are dealing with a narcissist and they do this kind of stuff to you, you need to be aware of what they're actually doing because a narcissist use running in a different way. Okay? They use it for manipulation, for emotional manipulations. Okay? Also to build a trauma bond, to make you feel like you have to deal with them. You don't know how to let them go. This is the seriousness of it. So narcissists as a runner, if he's or she is the runner and they're the narcissists may withdraw emotional or physically. They might just withdraw from you emotionally or physically or even both when confronted with vulnerability, accountability, and or when your needs are threatened by their sense of control. So you have some needs that need to be met. You address this to them. You come to them, you approach them, and you say, hey, we need to talk. And they're like, oh my goodness, here we go with this. And then you start expressing yourself to try to get through to them, to help them understand how you're feeling, why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and what you are needing from them. Well, instead of them listening to you, comprehending what you're saying, and also trying to be vulnerable, because you are being vulnerable in this moment. So that should help them to be vulnerable too, but instead they don't. And they should be having some type of accountability, because there's some reason why you are coming to them about your emotional needs. All right? There's a reason for that. And that must mean that there's something that they're lacking or needing to do, and they haven't done it. Instead, they will not take accountability for it. They will just basically start withdrawing from you emotionally and physically, or both. One of the two. They're gonna do either both or one of the two, okay? They're gonna withdraw from you. And you're gonna be feeling, why is this person, why is he acting like this? Why is she acting like this? I just expressed my feelings to them. Why do I feel like I did something wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. That's something that they're using as their tactic, okay? Be aware of this. Also, they might suddenly become cold, distant, or even ghost you, creating confusion and insecurity. So if you're dealing with that type of situation, personally, my advice is let them stay ghost. You want to be a ghost? Boo. Bye. That would be my advice, but I don't want to do that to you, because you might really love this person and you really are trauma bonded to this person. You don't know how to just let them stay gone. And on top of that, they're not going to stay gone. I'm going to tell you that now. They're going to pop back up. So we're going to get to that part. I'll tell you what they're going to do. Anyway, so then you also have, they might also become withdrawn. They might withdraw their self. I said that already, didn't I? Yeah. Anyway, so this type of withdrawal, what can happen is that it is intentional. I want you to know they're doing it on purpose. This is not something that they just are. This is a tactic. This is one of their tools. They pulled this out their toolbox and they're using it on you. So what they will probably do, they will use a form of the silent treatment. They don't want to talk to you. You don't hear from them. Or they're right there in your face and they're not talking to you. Now that to me is the most rudest thing a person can do, besides hang up a phone in your face, is to be right there next to you and they're not talking. Like, I know you upset, but you need to talk. Especially if I just expressed my feelings to you and you want to take this a whole nother way. I ain't do nothing wrong, but yet you're making me feel like I did something wrong. And then they might, or they could, emotionally punish you to gain power. So what is emotional punishment? Well, I'm going to give you an example. I remember my first marriage. I used to want to go out. I told you I was a club goer. So when I knew I was going to go out that weekend, I would tell my husband, hey, I'm going to go out Friday with my girls. Do you have plans? Is there anything you want to do? Let me know. Then I won't go out with them. We can do something together if you want to. Oh, no, I don't have any plans. I'm just going to stay at the house. And he was a gamer. So he played the PS whatever, 2, 3, whatever. I don't know what it was because I'm not a gamer. But he would play the game. And I would be like, okay, well, if you're going to sit here and play the game, I'm definitely going out because I don't want to sit around watching you play Madden or the NBA, whatever you got going on. I'm going to go out. So it'll get closer to the time when it was time, the day would come, and everything would be good. I mean, like, we're having a good time. Things are great. No arguments going on. All that. Just hunky-dory. But it's always seemed to when I was starting to get dressed, a switch would take place. And he would immediately get in his feelings. And I used to be like, what did I do? I told you I was going to go out. I asked you if you wanted to do anything. I would have changed my mind. And he was like, you know that I don't like being home by myself. And I'm like, well, why don't you come out with me then? I don't want to go out. We can stay home. Why? For me to watch you play the video game? No. I'm not going to do that. And so on Tuesday nights, we would have what we call movie night. Me and him would watch movies or whatever. And then he would be like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to have movie night with you on Tuesday. So now you want to emotionally punish me for you not wanting me to go out. Instead of just saying, I really don't want you to go out. I want you to be with me. Yes, I'm going to be playing a video game, but I need your presence. Even though it's still selfish because you're playing a video game and knowing that I'm not into that, we can do something together. But he wouldn't do that. And we will argue behind something like that and sometimes even fight, because it was times when he would go outside and put my tire on flat, keep me from leaving. He would do something to make it to where I didn't make it there, or I would make it there and maybe only had an hour until the club would close or something. Oh, I'm telling you, I talked about him in one of my podcasts. I think it's the first season of the podcast. So if you want to hear more about that story, you can go up into that. But I'm just letting you know, this is emotional punishment because you don't know what and why they're acting this way. And it feels like torture sometimes because you're trying to make things right by doing things the right way, but then it's just not working. It just doesn't seem to be working. So just know this is a part of their tactic, okay? Then, now I'm not saying my first husband was a narcissist. He's actually was diagnosed with bipolar. So I'm not going to say he's a narcissist. My second husband really was. But my first husband was basically bipolar. That was what's going on. He had too many mood swings going on with him. But you would probably say, dang girl, you married a bipolar, then you married a narcissist. This third one better work out. You sure right. My husband now, thank God. Yeah, I don't have to deal with any of those issues. Thank God. For real. I'm not playing. I'm serious. Thank you. Look, I can do a shout because he is nothing like them. Ooh. So anyways, let's keep it going. So what you want to understand is that when you are dealing with a person who is narcissist and they are doing the silent treatment on you, or they're doing the emotional punishment, they're doing that to regain power. That's what it's about. It's about power. So then let's talk about the partner, which is you as a chaser. You chasing them. So you will often have empathetic feelings for them and caring because you want things to be right. You don't want things to be a mess or in shambles and all that. You want things to be right. So what end up happening is that you're going to end up chasing after the narcissist, seeking reassurance, affection, also resolution. You want resolution. They know this about you. That's why they do what they do. You're going to have to switch this stuff up and do something a little different, okay? Because what ends up happening is that this fuels the narcissist's ego and control, which reinforces them in the toxic cycle. It helps them to keep it going. What you need to be real sure of is that when you're dealing with those issues of wanting to chase the narcissist because they're doing the silent treatment on you, or they're punishing you emotionally, making you feel bad, know that this is all a power trip. That's what it is. Please take heed to that. It is just a power trip. This is them being able to regain control. it helps them boost their ego. All right. It makes them feel like, yes, I gotta where I want her. I got him. I got him where I want him. It's that type of situation. Okay. So it just reinforces the cycle. It's a toxic cycle. It's very toxic. It's too toxic, really, because it becomes dangerous over time. And the longer you continue with this cycle, it becomes dangerous and it's hard to get rid of them. That's usually when you get them stalking you, when you're ready to break loose from them. They start popping up at places that you don't want because they didn't gain so much power from you. They feel like they own you. You don't want that to continue. When you start seeing that pattern, it's time to start breaking free. Just letting you know, that's the best way to do. So what ended up happening to you is that you may begin to blame yourself for the narcissist withdrawal, deepening the trauma bond. When you start blaming yourself for their behavior, baby, you are definitely in a trauma bond. And it is time for you to start some intermittent reinforcement. It's time to make some changes, okay? It's time for you to start some intermittent reinforcement, all right? Let's change. So, narcissists use cycles. This is what they do. They use cycles of affection and rejection to keep you off balance. That's what narcissist does. They give you the affection, then they give you rejection. They give you the affection, then they give you rejection. And what they're doing is making you confused. They want to keep you off balance. You can't throw you off track. Keep you from being able to figure them out. And you're like, this is going over my head. I don't know what's happening here. I love him. I love her. I just don't understand. Why is this got to be this way? And this is all in their game. It's all in their trick. Okay. So after withdrawing, they may return with love bombing. If you don't know what love bombing is, please go back to my 6th season and you can see what love bombing is. I talk about love bombing in a podcast, and they usually will return to the love bombing or the superficial apologies. Like they tell you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I'm so sorry. They apologizing, but there's no real repentance in their apology. You can't really feel that apology. Even if they start crying, it's fake tears. They're trying to manipulate you and they're trying to get you to do what they want. A real true apology is changed behavior, okay? And people only can change with time and putting in the work to change. So if they're not putting in the work to change and has not been in a significant amount of time that has passed, they are still the same. And you're going to get who they are to return the next moment you have another conflict or you're trying to resolve another issue that they don't want to resolve. All right. So what it does, it makes you hopeful for the change. When you're dealing with a love bombing situation or superficial apologies, you become hopeful that things are going to go well. You become real excited that, oh, they're different now. Not really. They're not. They ain't different. Just give it time and you'll start seeing the true them again. It's going to come out because they ain't doing anything to do the work. They haven't changed. They just going through their normal state of being, of what they do normally. You just ain't figured it out yet. And of course, what this also does, it creates an unpredictable behavior in your psychological, which is very addictive. What is similar to is gambling. Think about it. When a person gamble, it is occasionally rewarded with money, right? Something that makes you feel good for a moment, and it's to hook you in. But you lose more than you gain. You lose more than you win. And it's exactly what this is about. Now, why this dynamic is so demanding? What's going on with this? So reason why it's demanding is because it's emotional manipulation for the narcissist. The narcissist, which is the runner, controls the relationship by deciding when to engage with you and when to withdraw from you. They're in control. It's about control, baby. All right. Trauma bond cycles. It's a cycle of pain and affection, creating a deeper emotional dependency upon them. Because if they can get you to be in pain, which hurts, and then start making you feel good, which is pleasure, you don't know if it's real or not. Is this real love or is this fake? What is it? I don't know. Especially if you never dealt with it before. It can really be mind-blowing. I mean, for real. And then, of course, low self-worth. You begin to feel unworthy because don't forget, they start talking to you in a rude way. Talking to you nasty, disrespecting you with their mouth. All right? Maybe even calling you out of your name or saying that's why nobody wants you or you getting fat or anything like that to make you feel low and make you feel like you have no self-worth. All right. So you begin to feel unworthy and consistently you keep trying to fix the relationship. You start trying to do something to yourself, try to fix your hair, try to lose some weight, try to do whatever you can do to become more attracted to them. And everything that you're doing is not for yourself, it's for them and for their attention and their affection. They know it. That's why they treat you the way they treat you, because they already know what's going on. To them, you have become weak to them. Not only you became weak, they don't have any respect for you. That's why you shouldn't chase them. If they run, let them run. Okay? And then what this also do, it is a chronic anxiety. If you haven't dealt with anxiety, this will sure give you that. I did not know what anxiety was until my deceased husband. It was so much of a roller coaster with him. Just waking up in the morning, looking at him, I used to be like, oh my God, what is today going to be like? Please don't let us fight today. I just want to get through the day without some craziness. And then we would have some good days. And I'm like, this is what I fell in love with. That was love bombing. And I was like, this is what I want. And I would want more of this. But then something would go, he would snap at a twist of a nothing. Let me give you an example of snapping. So I had this dress on. I think I told the story before, but I'm going to tell it in this podcast anyway. So I had this dress on and it showed some cleavage. And he's tripping about the cleavage, but he never said anything to me about it. So I didn't know he had a problem with the dress. We was in the house, we was watching TV, we was watching a movie, and now this is my deceased husband I'm talking about. And we were watching a movie, and it seemed like we were just having a good time. We was drinking, I don't know what we was drinking, but I know it was some kind of alcohol beverage or whatever. And he used to like smoking cigars and stuff like that. And I used to share a cigar with him every now and then and everything. Haven't smoked a cigar since him. But yet, what I'm saying is, it was a good time. Well, I got up to go on the front porch. I don't remember what I went out there for, but I know it was dark outside. And I went to go get something off the porch and I came back in the house. It was quick. Just open the door, grab what it was, come right on back in the house. And he snapped on me. I know you didn't go outside like that. And I was like what? You got your breasts all out. I said, my breast is not out. It's just showing cleavage. I don't give a... he went ballistic, went off, and he grabbed me and slammed me to the couch. And I was confused, like, what happened? What just happened? I don't know what I did wrong. And I'm like, what was wrong with my dress? And he bought the dress for me. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So all this was very confusing to me because you bought the dress and yet you are tripping about the dress. Man, The next day, I took that dress and I threw it in the trash. I said, I'm never going to wear this dress again. I'm not going to go here with you or anyone like that. He was like, oh, you don't. And then he saw the dress in the trash the next day. And he was like, you don't have to throw the dress away. I said, nope, I'm throwing it away because I would never let you do that to me where I don't know what to wear. I don't know what you like, don't like, because when I wear something that you bought me, you got a problem with it and you snapping on me for no reason. It's dark outside. Nobody saw me go on the porch to grab whatever it is that I had and come back in the house. But his mind, he felt like the whole world saw my titties out. And I'm sorry, my titties wasn't out. So what's wrong with you? Oh, I ain't gonna go up in that story. He's gone. He ain't even here no more. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that it does become a part of a problem that can put fear in you. And the fear of abandonment or even emotional instability, which cause long-term stress, which also causes anxiety. That's how anxiety comes in at. It's actually fear. Anxiety is fear of the unknown. That's what anxiety is. And I just didn't know what was going to be taking place. I didn't understand it. Like, okay, I'm throwing that dress away because I wear it again. You might do something else to me. And anything else like it. So anyways, now let's talk about how you break this cycle. How do you break and become free from this? First off, I'm going to tell you now, I have a class. It's called Breaking the Spell. You can actually take that class, go to my website, imagingcoaching.com/programs. Matter of fact, it's in the podcast. You can see it down there. I don't know if you can click on the link or not, but you can copy it and put it in the search engine. Or you just put in imagingcoaching.com. Or you can just put Imaging Coaching LLC, which is the name of my business, and go to where it says programs. The program that you want to look for, the course that you want to go to is Breaking the Spell. That is all about breaking free from narcissistic entanglements. It helps you to break the cycle. Okay? So I'm going to give you 6 ways to break this cycle. Now, the class is 13 weeks. It's actually 12 weeks, but I put a bonus week in there to help you not go back after you break free, to teach you not to go back, how to not go back, to recognize when you're about to make those same mistakes and habits all over again. So, number 1, the way to break free from this cycle is to recognize the manipulation. You need to understand that the runner's behavior isn't a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's not a reflection of you at all. All it is a tool for them to gain control. All right. Number 2, stop chasing. Please, whatever you do, you need to pull yourself back from chasing them. All right. Pulling back from chasing, what it would do, it will allow you to get some clarity about your weaknesses and your strengths. It will help you to weaken the power that the narcissists have over you. With time, you have time to see everything, and I mean everything, or what you allow to happen to you, and what you can start making some changes at, where you can make these changes at. So you want to slow down and you want to take some time for yourself. So when they're running, that is a good time for you to reflect on your life and your relationship with them and what you want to do with yourself. What is it that you actually want in your world? Because this is your world. And you got every right to control it, all right? You have the right to control your world, not them. And then number 3, you want to set some boundaries. Now, if they take off running, they try to come back, you should have your boundaries already put in place. You want to define them and you want to maintain emotional and physical boundaries to protect your well-being. All right? This is about you. Protect yourself. So you want to also focus on self-healing. It's time to heal. They might not be gone that long though. You might say they came back yesterday. They left today, came back yesterday, came back tomorrow. They left yesterday, came back tomorrow. But I didn't have time to reflect. Yeah, you did. You had time to reflect while they was gone. And you had time to ask yourself some questions. Do I really want this relationship? Because this ain't going nowhere. But what I do see, if I stay in this relationship and I keep it going this way, it's going to get worse. And where do I see this relationship in the next 2 years? What about in the next year? I'm going to be able to still recognize myself when I look at myself in the mirror? Or am I going to be better? And if you can't recognize yourself, you allow them to take full control of who you are. And guess what happens? You can't educate yourself. So number 5 is that you need to educate yourself. So remember, focus on self-healing. You want to engage in activities to rebuild your self-esteem, your independence. You might want to do some counseling, some journaling, or even a support group. I have a support group that you will be able to join if you join the class or the Breaking the Spell, the course, you will be already automatically added into the private group. You can talk to individuals who have been through what you've been through, or you can hire me as your coach and I can help you in the process while you are in the class. Now, if you decide you don't want to take the class, you just want some coaching, I can do that as well. So I can help you with educating you. So you want to also educate yourself, okay? You want to learn about narcissistic abuse patterns. I have a book. It's called Breaking the Spell. Your Ultimate Escape Plan from Narcissistic Entanglements. That book explains to you everything you need to know about a narcissist, how to recognize them, how to break free from that. Oh, that book is going to help you. And it's not even about relationships, only being in a romantic relationship. In that book, I talk about parenting, parents who are narcissists. I talk about coworkers. I talk about bosses. If you got a boss that's narcissist, I talk about all those different things. So you get an opportunity to just learn. All right. And you can actually pick that book up online you can go to the website was imagingcoaching.com/books and you can pick a copy of that up, or you can just go to Amazon and put in my name, Alayla Carroll, type in book, and then make sure you put the title of the book, which is Breaking the Spell from Narcissistic Entanglements. So then you want to also recognize red flags, and I talk about that as well to help you to figure it out before it figures you out. Figure out the red flags before the red flags catch up with you. All right. So number 6 is plan for an escape if you need it. You have to plan your exit. If this is going to be a dramatic situation that becomes very toxic and it doesn't get better, and you cannot find a safe place with this person, well, it is time to plan your exit. What you want to do is create a safe, step-by-step exit plan. And it's very essential for your mental and your physical as well as your emotional health, all right? I do talk about that in the course, how to plan your escape plan safely without you getting hurt, without family members getting hurt, without it being a big mess. That's why that course is very important. I'm going to tell you about this course. Any course that I put together, you have to work it in order for it to work. Don't get involved and then stop. Or do a little bit and then wait weeks and weeks and weeks and then try to do a little bit more. Yeah, it is self-paced, but it's designed to be a certain amount of time that you are supposed to put in the work so you can stay focused, stay on top of it, and you can get some results quickly. I hope that this helped you. Now I'll be coming back with another topic. And in the meantime, share this. You might know somebody who needs this information. Share this podcast with them. It doesn't cost a dime. So just share it with them. Tell them, hey, download it, listen to it, and just try to see what you can do to make sense of what's going on in your life and also in your relationship. So I am Layla Carroll, and I am signing out. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.